worth cannot be equal to the individual worth. All right? It's like the individual, because they are separate from the business, the individuals, they cannot say, okay, that is our worth. No, because they must have their own personal worth than the corporate worth. So corporate worth is not equal to individual worth. Although, when it comes in terms of business finance, for example, where the company has gone wanting to borrow money from lenders of finance like the banks, for example, you find that the company is not doing well and the bank refuses to give you loans, to give overdrafts to the company. But the individual, when he goes there, maybe issues of letters of undertaking and whatever, and you find that the individual actually gets the loan from the bank. So we would say that corporate borrowing, all right, I mean individual borrowing is a perfect substitute of corporate borrowing. That if the company fails to get the money from the banks, the individual can go and use his own personal assets, and then he can actually get the money, and then when he gets the money, he can push it to the business. Yeah. So these things, they're actually different, but there are also those advantages. And lastly, the difference between all these, which is like a common denominator, maybe we can look at, for example, their financial statements. In a sole trader, for example, under income statement or profit and loss account, you just you finalize by looking at the profit. So you have sales minus cost of sales, or production costs, and then you have gross profit, and from there minus the expenses, and then you have profit, which is the whole profit to you. Business partnership firms, the same thing, but when you have that profit, it's going to be shared. This one, there's no sharing. While a limited liability company, what is called the profits in these other areas, we will call it profits before tax. And then you have the taxation, and you have profits after tax, and now you can take out dividends, and then you can have some money proudly to back to the business, which are called the retained profits.
That's all we had for you in today's edition of The Business Coach. We've talked about 3 types of businesses. I do believe you had a very wonderful time watching The Business Coach. My name is Precious Chikatiko, and The Business Coach is Professor Kingston Prince Ngwira. Continue watching the rest of our programs. Bye-bye. Let me welcome you to today's program of The Business Coach. This is a very good time, a very wonderful time, whereby we do talk about issues to do with business. My name is Precious Chikatiko, your host, and I have the Business Coach today, Professor Kingston Prince Ngwira. Welcome to the program.
Oh yes, welcome, Precious, too. And let me also take this opportunity to welcome every viewer outside there, that indeed welcome to this program, Business Coach, airing here at Pentecost Live Television, aka PL TV. And I would want you to stay tuned, especially if you you are an aspiring entrepreneur, you would want to start your own venture, you would want to start your own business, but sometimes you're also in your own business already. You can be able to gauge or learn 1 or 2 lessons from this program, and when you put them into applications, your business should be able to do well. So we are here for you, and we ask you to please stay tuned.
We've been talking about types of businesses, and we looked at 2.
Yes.
The sole trader and also
The business partnership fee.
the business partnership firm. And today we are going to wind up, because you said there are 3 types
We'll
of
be talking about limited liability
businesses.
company, yes.
Yeah, so you're mentioning a company.
Yes. Yes, because a company and the partnership firm and the sole trader, they are different. So somebody would want to say, I want to start a company. What is a company? So we'll be looking at all those things, the conditions that are there, the benefits that are there, and one can differentiate maybe the sole trader and business, so that one has a wide range of choices or has alternatives into which business venture one would want to actually pursue.
But maybe before we come to the topic
Yes.
for today,
Yes.
the limited liability company, maybe you should remind
Yes.
people of the two types of businesses,
Yes.
so that we form a right basis
Yes.
for today's edition.
You are correct. We talked about the sole trader and also the business partner in trade. And on sole trader, we say this is one-man business. A single person rises up one day and thinks of setting or coming or forming up his own business. Maybe he has been working, but now he says, let me stop work. Or maybe he's working, he says, okay, let me have a business while I am working. It is possible, as long as you put some people that should be able to work for you while you're actually working somewhere. And also making sure that the issues of conflict of interest should not be there. Because, for instance, if somebody is in stores, okay, and then he is managing stationary stores, and then he opens a business which is stationary, people will be able to say, okay, if he receives an order there for 5 rims, for example, but he doesn't have the 5 rims, but the office has 5 rims in his stores.
He will take
them and go that side. So sometimes issues of conflict of interest, one should be able to see it so that he's very clean on whatever he's actually doing. So we talk about sole trader, one-man business, where the owner becomes an owner manager, right? An owner manager. This one-man business has several benefits. One of them, for example, would say that he has freedom. Yes, he has freedom. Because when you're going to work, you know, they say come 7:30, okay, and you knock off this time, all right? Sometimes you're called to work overtime. Yeah, so unless you're a manager, then maybe there are several benefits, and that's not a problem. But to somebody who is not a manager, sometimes it's like it's laborious, you know? Yeah, so there's no freedom, all right? Sometimes you work even during lunch hour. Your friends have gone to lunch, but you're still working during lunch hour. Maybe not working, maybe around 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., when others have knocked off at 5 p.m. So somebody will say, let me be free. So when you are running your own business, you become free. There are also others that when they are working, they are not in good terms with their bosses. So so when they start their own business, it's an act of freedom. So one of the benefits is that there's freedom. The second one is that we would say that the profits, right, that the entrepreneur, the businessman, the owner manager makes the profits that he realizes, maybe at the end of the financial year, they all belong to him. Right? They all belong to him. And it's up to him to how he will be able to use that money. Whether he marries 4 wives or 10 wives, no problems. It's his money. Maybe he says, let me go to the lake and spend my money there. Let me enjoy. The life is too short. Let me enjoy. So one can actually go and does those enjoyments using his own money, which are his profits. So in short, all the profits, they belong to him. And he has liberty on how he can use it, as long as he should not actually make the business sink because he is just siphoning money anyhow, though it is on his own business. This is why there is need for a separation between the business and himself, though the business belongs to him. So how do you separate? Issues like maybe giving yourself a salary. So you make your own business, you form your own business, but you have or you make your own salary. So that from that salary, it's like you are bringing in financial discipline to yourself. So the only money you get from the business is your salary. So also give a reasonable salary, not too much salary. Otherwise, you kill the business. So the salary grows. Okay, the salary grows. So set something that you should. If you're in a rented house, you should be able to pay your rent. You should be able to put in some fuel in your car if you have one. You should be able to buy some groceries and maybe a little bit on reserve somewhere. So that should be enough for you. And then you leave the business to be able to grow. So we are saying all the profits, they actually belong to him. But also we can talk about quick decision making. All right? Because he's alone. He wants to do something, he just decides. Well done. He has already done it. Nobody is going to question him. All right. So these are some of the benefits of the entrepreneurship and entrepreneur who starts his own business. But of course, we also talked about the disadvantages, the challenges that the entrepreneur meets or faces. So one of them is failure to raise capital. All right, failure to raise capital because it's just one. Right, and then to raise capital sometimes I'm talking about even the capital contribution. For him to start the business, to raise that capital is a problem, right? And then he goes to the bank are saying, okay, do you have assets? He's just starting, no assets are there. And they're saying, bring these financial statements, and the business is just starting, no financial statements are there. So there's nothing that the bank can be able to trust. They have KYC, the banks, know your customer. So they don't have something they can trust with this entrepreneur. And they will tell you, say, please, maybe you wait for 6 months. Let's see how the account is swinging, so that when we give you money, we are sure to say you'll be able to repay, looking at how much the funds are coming into the account. Somebody says, so you would want me to do for 6 months? Where am I going to get the money? It will be to see that maybe I'm supplying and then the money is coming into the account. I'm looking for the money, give me the money, and you see how I'm going to do my gimmick. So many people, they come out there challenging the banks, give us the money, but the bank people are serious people, experienced people, and they deal with issues of risk management. So they would want to put their money where the risk is very low. So somebody who is just starting, the risk is very high. Yeah, that maybe you'll be in default, and it doesn't have assets, so that any collateral, in case the business goes in default, they can grab one property and sell and recover their money. He doesn't have all those things. So we have that, what we call the sole trader. And then we talk about the business partnership firm. The business partnership firm is not far away from the sole trader. The other thing I wanted also to say on the sole trader is the sole trader does not have what we call a limited liability, like a limited liability company. He doesn't have, his business is not having limited liability, right? So limited liability, it means that in times where the business is not doing well, it is in shambles, it is in difficulties, and maybe it has some creditors, all those things. So in those times, creditors cannot come to the house of the sole trader, right? They can come to the house of a sole trader, maybe to grab certain properties, grabbing maybe Shigayo, for example. If there's a car, they will grab a car, depending on how much the values are, because he is a sole trader. So there is no limited liability, which means when the business is not doing very well, creditors are there, and he has so many dates. Creditors can even go to his home, the home of a sole trader, and get some katundu there, because there's no distinct difference or between ownership and this person. So they are actually one. Even when somebody wants to be sued, if you are suing the business of a sole trader, it's like you are suing the person. All right, and at times the judge in the court of law can pass a sentence that according to the case, this individual, this sole trader, must go and go to jail, for example. All right? Yes, go to jail, depending on the case. It is possible. Not a company. Because a company has a distinct difference or ownership between owners and the company itself. So the ownership and the company are two different things. So they can sue the company, or the company can sue. The owners are not part of it. Right? Yes. So business partnership thing is not different from sole trader. In a sole trader, we are saying it's one-man business. Who becomes an owner manager? And also other advantages, you see that he can be assisted by his relatives, either a wife, he can be assisted maybe even with the other, maybe children, right, as a sole trader. So business partnership firm is also the same, whereby, of course, the benefits that we see are that number one, maybe issues of consultation before a decision is made. It will be looked as a benefit, because one-man business, you just do it. But when you are two, you consult, so that you have, or you make the right decision, which should not be costly decision. But not only that, issues of skills. You can have skills, talents, and also resources such as money, for example. So you can meet somebody has got money, somebody doesn't have money, but he has skills. He has knowledge on how to do it, but doesn't have money. So the one with the skills, the one with knowledge, talents, and competencies can match up with somebody who has actually money. So that is a benefit also of the partnership. But also, when the profits are made, they can be shared. It's not that everything should be just for one person. Now they're actually shared according to ratios of how much capital they actually contributed. So maybe somebody contributed 10 million, somebody contributed 20 million, so maybe the ratio might be maybe 2 to 1, for example, right? So the profits will also be, acquisition or maybe paid depending on actually those ratios. So those are some of the advantages or benefits of business partnership firms. But additionally, there could be also other costs or maybe disadvantages or challenges that they meet. One of the challenges is that it is just like a sole trader. There's no difference or distinct difference between the owners, the partners, and the business itself. They are one. So it means when they are suing the company, they are also suing them. But also, another disadvantage is maybe there will be what we call sleeping partners. Sleeping partners. A sleeping partner is the one that is not physically in the organization, in the business. He's working somewhere, but one of the partners is the one that is working. So it means the one that is staying, is the one that meets me, you know, all those things. While the other one, he's not
sleeping.
Yeah, he's yes, he's sleeping. Yes. So that's a sleeping partner. But also another disadvantage is when the business is not doing very well. If you're with a partner, the one that is doing well amongst them, because the partnership is a business between 2 to 20 people. Yeah. So I don't know if they withdraw, then the business might collapse, because the one with the partner is taking out his money, and the ones that are staying there are just weak people. Then that will be some disadvantage. But also when the partners, one of the partners, especially the wealthy partner, dies, all right? When one dies, it is also a big problem. Just as the sole trader, when he dies, in many cases, there is no, things of taking over, or maybe before looking into those things whereby someone has to take over the business, and you look at them, critically before something happens. So when one dies in a sole trader, in many businesses, or the founder dies, everything actually stops. All right. So with the same thing with the business partner, especially when the partner dies or withdraws, it's actually a very big problem. So these are some few things that we talked about the sole trader and the business partner firm. And many people do not want to go into partnership because they think they will fight, or maybe like in the Bible talk about Abraham and Lot. And later on they fought and then they left each other. So if you don't fight and things are well, they might not be well forever. But also if they are not well, still staying with that partner, it will be like you are staying with your Lord forever. So many people do not want that. So and then they want the sole trader, and also they don't want to part away with ownership. They want the ownership to be closer to them. So they don't want somebody else. They don't want other many people, just themselves. But as we talk about disadvantages, sometimes like in Malawi, we have very big problems. One of the diseases that we have in Malawi is in that national anthem, Nsanje. Nsanje. So we have so much jealousies amongst each other. We don't want to see somebody doing well, yet they are contributing more to the nation. They're employing people, helping areas of unemployment. And you see that people are having jealousies with them. And yet on the other side, government also is trying to advocate to say we need more entrepreneurs, we need more business people. Even universities are saying let's train people on entrepreneurship so that they should not be trained to work for someone, but to work to stand on their own. That is the song today. But you see, when they start, jealousies. And then this is what is beating all that concept. And people are pulling them down. I mean, I'm not going to smooth husbands, you know, so if we come out of all these things, then our nation shall be okay. So, yes, we should be talking over the new topic today, looking at the limited liability company.
But maybe before we come to the limited liability company, you've talked about the sole trader and the business partnership firm, of which you've also said many people would not want to go into partnership.
Yes.
Which one would you prefer? Because you are a coach,
Yes.
you are coaching people. So if someone wants to go into business, maybe a sole trader or a business partnership, he's looking at or she is looking at, okay, let me find partners.
Yes.
Which one would you recommend to a person who is about to go into business?
Well, I would say, unless I can answer that question when we have done the limited liability company, so that the viewer outside there knows all the three types of businesses. And when I'm coming up with that answer to your question, then one should be able to say, yes, he's right. Yeah, as a business leader, I think he's right. So maybe because we haven't talked about this, let's just skip your question until we tackle that one, and then we'll bring in the answer.
Yeah, so let's talk about the limited liability company.
Yes.
What is it all about?
This limited liability company, number one, as you're saying, what is it all about? Number one is the way it is formed, right? The way it is formed. The way the limited liability, in this case, as I said, it means when the company is not doing well, it has got debts. Creditors will not come to the owners of that business. Number two, limited liability company means that there is a distinct existence or separation between the owners and the company. These are not one, unlike in the sole trader and the partnership. So this one, they are not one. If you are suing the company, you are not suing Chikatiko. Yes, if Professor Chikatiko is the owner of that company, if you are suing the company, you are not suing Professor Chikatiko. And it will be the company that it's with its own lawyers. They will be going to go to court, meet those things, and defend their cases. It will not be Precious. So there is that distinct existence between ownership and the company. That's a limited liability company. The partnership business and the sole trader, there is no distinct existence. The business and themselves, they are actually one. Now, how is this company formed? All right? This company, which is called a company, with the word company, or the word limited, okay? It is formed by people or individuals who will come and say, we want to start a company. The capital contribution that they put into the business is what we call shares. So the capital that they put into business is called share capital. While of the sole trader, you can't say share capital. You're saying Zabo, shares. Yeah. So the money they put into business are called shares. So the value is called share capital. Now, in a limited liability company, there are several types of capitals. The first capital that emerges, we call it authorized share capital. Okay? And maybe before I go there, when you talk about share capital, as I said, the money put into the business are called shares. Now they agree the individuals, whether they are 4 or 5, 3, or how many, no matter how many they are. But they will agree to say, okay, our shares, are they going to be 1 kwacha per share, or they're going to be 2 kwacha per share, or 3 kwacha per share, or 4 kwacha per share? They must decide themselves. All right? So they say, let's make it 1 kwacha per share. So if they put it 10 million kwacha of 1 kwacha per share, it means there are 10 million shares. That's how we interpret it. If they're saying, okay, we go for 2 kwacha per share, then it means if they put it 10 million, they have 5 million shares. So on 10 million kwacha, somebody has brought in 2 million. If it's 1 kwacha per share, he has 2 million shares. Somebody has bought in 3 million kwacha. 1 kwacha per share, he has 3 million shares. Somebody has 5 million kwacha. It means the shares is 5 million shares. This type of interpretation helps for investors themselves to understand. So that when they make profits, one should be able to know how much profits will come to me according to my shares, according to my contribution. But of course, many people, they don't know this. That's why the business coach has to come here and explain all these things. So that the shareholders, are being because, okay, when the profits are being realized in that company, there are people that are appointed by the shareholders or investors, whom we call board of directors. So the shareholders or investors, they appoint people. These are called board of directors. These are the ones that they also appoint management, like general manager, CEO, and all those things, and senior management. They are done by the board of directors. So board of directors, as we are discussing as business coach, we should be talking to them as senior management. So when we say senior management, it's not that management, no. When we say top management, we are talking about board of directors. Because those are supposed to report to the shareholders. Now there is an agency field. We have the owners as the principal, and then the board of directors as agent. These are supposed to do the interest, certify the interest of the principal, who are the shareholders. But in many cases, they do fights because they have different interests. For instance, the board of directors and management, they will say, let's increase the salaries. Let's increase salaries. But to an investor or shareholders, that increase of salaries, it means you are increasing the wage bill, and it means you are eating part of the profits, because the expenses are going to increase, which will eat their profits. And you see that there's going to be a conflict. So we will call it capital versus labor. Capitalist, meaning investors and shareholders. Labor, it's employees. So there is capitalist versus labor, and they're actually having those fights. Okay. So the people that puts in the money, shareholders, and the monies we are saying that is put into the business is called share capital. Now, when I said there are different types of capitals, the first one is called authorized share capital. Authorized, the way authorized, it means when the individuals, the investors, have sat down on a round table, we want to form a company. How much capital are we going to decide? Okay, let's put 10 million. Okay, we are 5 people. I'll bring 3 million. Okay, I'll bring 1 million. I'll bring 2 million. I'll bring so much. Total 10 million on a round table. Now when they have agreed our capital is starting with 10 million, that 10 million becomes authorized share capital. So when you are doing your registration, like to the registrar of companies, we have a document which is supposed to be produced, which is called Articles of Association. Sometimes you say Articles and Memorandum of Association into one, all right?